My friends and I have been to many Halloween events throughout Los Angeles, but I don't think any of them can quite top the Dark Harbor here at Long Beach on the Queen Mary ship. By the way, this ship is bigger than the Titanic. It's a World War II era ship that has been docked in Long Beach for many years. It's considered one of the 10 most haunted attractions throughout the entire US, so what a fitting spot to actually have a haunted area. There are all these different mazes around. So it's not uncommon for haunted areas to have mazes, but what makes the Queen Mary so special is that there's 5 different ones, and there's actually a purpose to it being a maze. I think most people think of them as miniature haunted houses, but in this case, there were 5 different speakeasies that are legitimately hidden. In fact, one of the ones that we first found, we were not able to get just on our first glance. We almost exited the entire maze without actually finding it. Now, what's cool is we ended up getting VIP passes, which meant we could have unlimited tokens to go to these secret speakeasies. Normally, you only get one, and you may have to buy a few others or find them on the ground, but we were able to do the opposite of that, which was cool. 2 of the secret speakeasies were inside the Queen Mary ship, another 2 were in outside mazes, and one final one was just lurking about. We did end up finding that one. I'm not much of a drinker, but yeah, I had to throw down for this. In order to make that happen, though, we needed to stock up on fuel. We ended up finding the biggest meat skewers you've ever seen in your entire life. I made the wise choice of not buying one because my 2 other friends could not finish the actual thing they purchased. By the way, I will say, as far as carnival fare goes, these are, of course, pricier food items, but I felt like for $24, the meat skewer really wasn't that bad. That'd be $12 a person, which you could easily split 50-50, and yeah, that might sound expensive to most parts of the country, but here in California, that's honestly a pretty good deal. And actually, I didn't feel like the drink prices were that expensive either. Most alcoholic mixed drinks were less than $10, and the virgin versions, which of course have no alcohol in them, were like $6 to $7 too. Now, I consider myself a pretty bold person just as a human. I don't really consider myself a scaredy cat either, but, you know, there is a lot to be nervous about and jumping at when it comes to these mazes. And I think the coolest part about this is that the Queen Mary itself is such a unique venue. There are all of these incredible pipes and historic elements to it. When you're walking through it, it really feels like you're inside of a different world, and it's not like these other haunted mazes where they have to build everything from scratch. You've got this amazing infrastructure that's just right there. One of my favorite parts was when the shaky bridge, as we're crossing through one of them, started going absolutely wild. It made me feel like I was going to have a moment there because this just looks like a bridge part of the Queen Mary. That's not going to fall off, right? You'd have no expectation of that happening. Really, really cool. And then there's all the showmanship around. I loved the fire dancers. I thought they were phenomenal. They had such a great presence to them. And then all throughout the entire area, you've got haunted captains who are walking about. You've got people sliding down and making sparks with their chainsaws. You've got, you know, creepy girls coming at you, blowing bubbles at you and giving you winks. And you've got small, I'm assuming are adults, but, you know, they look like little girls and they're got their teddy bear and they're just kind of moaning at you. It's a whole scary thing. There's also optional add-ons too. For example, you could buy tickets to The Summoning of Samuel, which is allegedly a spooky show. I have to say, though, I think it's Samael. I don't know that Samuel is something, you know, biblical or demonic or whatever, but, you know, certainly could be. In fact, leave a note in the comments if you do know who Samuel is compared to Samael. I think they're kind of the same person. Because we bought the VIP passes, we were able to go to the observation deck on the Queen Mary, which gave us a beautiful sight of the whole city. There was an exclusive bar up there too, which was a little pricier, but also had bigger drinks. A nice spot to just plop on a couch and relax and enjoy the nighttime air that's right by the salty sea. Feels good to sit. Again, I've been to many of these events like Halloween Horror Nights and Not Scary Farm. I would love to do more this year, but I would have a really hard time thinking the Queen Mary could be beat. The Dark Harbor was a great time. It was a little pricey. Obviously, we got the VIP, so it was close to $150, but even the regular admission is about $50 to $60, which again, maybe that's a lot, but compared to entering a theme park like Universal, which is about $100, or Disneyland, it's honestly a pretty good deal, and it's full of atmospheric charm. I will say you definitely want to consider buying a parking pass ahead of time. That's about an extra $30. Yikes. But you are not going to have to worry about shuttling or being too late. You want to get every bit of time you can. We ended up showing up around 8 or 8:30. The park itself opens up at 7, and we regretted not showing up right away to get every single minute possible. This was a really, really cool spot. We wanted to find all the speakeasies, and we couldn't. So there are actual real risks to just lollygagging about, which I think is kind of fun, right? Maybe encourage you to go see it a second time. You know, maybe take another peek through those mazes, see if you can find it. Again, this is not a place you're going to just go one time and experience everything. Definitely bring a big group of friends, have some amazing meat skewers and different carnival foods, and just enjoy the history of the Queen Mary. Compared to all the other big theme parks too, this is something that's really worth your time and money, keeping the preservation and history of this amazing World War II vessel alive. Just cannot recommend it enough. Catch you later, Scouts.